Hello everyone, today I have here with me a special and cheap little watch. In my hand sits the Didun, I'ma just call it Didun design Quartz Patek Philippe Nautilus Homage. At first when I ordered it, I did not assume much of it at all. I thought it was one of those Nautilus homages that have an out of proportion fat ass bezel made by the likes of LG Zieg and Felida. Well, about 2 weeks after my order, I was pleasantly surprised by what arrived. In the cardboard box sat a decently well made homage, or more like clomage, to the 2021 Nautilus, and of course I bought the olive dial version of this watch because I like to pretend that I have more money than sense, and also because I want to purchase the blue dial as an automatic, since I do prefer the traditional blue dial to the olive one. And if you like what you see here today, link is in the description. You can't really expect much for $30, can you? The stainless steel sports designed watch comes with a quartz movement of unknown origin, with the most you can expect being a cheap Miyota, although there is one thing that does tell me that chances are it isn't. The rubbish quartz movement I received comes with a date wheel that sometimes has a seizure when you change the date. The crown, surprisingly, is pretty smooth, but unfortunately my biggest moan about this watch is that the second hand is as badly aligned and positioned as Picasso's paintings, or should I say, the movement itself is not aligned very well, going from perfect alignment at some points to completely off at other areas. Nonetheless, this watch is quite a thin one, coming in at around 11mm of thickness, 42mm in width, not inclusive of the crown but inclusive of the ears of the Nautilus, and a lug-to-lug of 47mm. In other words, this watch is perfect for one with a larger wrist size and has a love for the Nautilus's pothole design. The watch is made of what seems to be full stainless steel and feels heavy and quite solid, which is fortunately contrary to what I originally believed. Didun Design has done a great job, or should I say, the factory they buy and rebrand it from has done a great job in nearly imitating the proportions and overall shape of the genuine Nautilus. One obvious difference from the genuine piece is that the homage is missing the screws in the ears, holding the back section of the case to the front of the Patek Philippe Nautilus, something that I learned to ignore after realizing most of the Nautilus homages that have the screws have other even more glaring problems. The crown on the homage is also a tad larger lengthwise and sticks out a bit like a sore thumb. The case itself is polished and brushed very well and gives off an accurate Nautilus look, with the outer edge of the bezel and some edges of the case having a mirror polish. The bracelet as well follows along with the great level of finishing that the case has, and is also a pretty accurate homage to the Nautilus bracelet. This piece comes with a solid screw-down caseback with Didun Design Sport 01-1083 etched onto the back. Despite the screw-down caseback, the watch only comes with a water resistance of 30 meters, which is honestly expected at this price point, and therefore I shall not complain. The solid caseback has a brushed outer edge and can be taken off with one of those 3-prong caseback tools, or better known as the JAXA tool. The bracelet that comes with this watch is a close copy of the one on the Patek Philippe Nautilus, with its brushed outer links and polished and slightly domed mid links. It is a genuinely beautiful sight to behold, well, in my opinion anyways. Unfortunately, this bracelet also has a few cons. Yes, it's starting to look at, yes, it's very well polished and brushed, but oh hell is it a nippy little shit. Wearing the watch for a long period of time feels like going for a full body wax, but you only pay enough for one trip and somehow it's on your wrist of all places. The bracelet tears the hair off like a newborn does to its mother, and I know I gotta be a man and all, but Jesus, it genuinely starts to hurt after a while. This hair ripping sensation can be attributed to the slightly uneven cutting of the metal used in some of the links. Besides the bracelet's affinity to hair ripping, it can be a bit stiff at times as well. Some reviews state that because of this stiffness, owners with thinner wrists find it very hard to wear them. Fortunately, after a bit of bending, the bracelet on mine loosened, so my dear thin-wristed friends, please purchase with caution. The dial of the watch is a genuine stunner, but also a slight disappointment at the same time. Never did I expect the dial to arrive with a beautiful olive green sunburst effect, like a shittier version of the one on the olive dial Nautilus. I compared it with a genuine Nautilus 57121A that one of my mates owned, and yes, although it is in a different color, the sunburst effect on the Chinese homage is actually pretty decent when compared to the real deal. The dial has Didun and stainless steel printed on it and has really cheap looking markers lining its circumference. These markers along with the hands of the watch is my main issue with the dial. The hour markers aren't aligned super well, but are aligned to a tolerable standard. The hand has lume but looks genuinely like paper when I'm close, but of course what can be expected for something that costs as much as a metal Casio. On this dial also sits a tiny little date window showing off the white date wheel of the Quartz movement. The movement that came with this watch, as I have said before, is probably a cheap Chinese quartz movement that Didun design found on a street. The second hand is not very accurate and can have slight variations in alignment. The date wheel spasms like my thigh muscle after an overly intense jog, but hey, at least it has good accuracy. It isn't as accurate as the top quartz movements, but comes with an estimated beat error of around 20 seconds a month. I feel that Didun design could greatly improve the watch by using a better Miyota movement than what I assume is one of those cheap Chinese movements that you can get for a few cents. Before I bought the watch, I did not expect much from the Lume, but got slightly more than what I thought I would get. The Lume actually lights up, not for long and not very brightly, but it is comparable to the early Pagani design Lumes. This means that it's almost useless. I on one hand like it when I walk into a dark room with it on my wrist, and it surprises me by actually lighting up, something that seldom happens. And now, at the end of it all, we talk about the price. This piece comes at a whoppingly low $34 with all the coupons in the store. An amazing deal for the poor man that bows down and prays to our lords and saviors, Gerald Genta and Patek Philippe, or just for the ones that love the Nautilus' signature porthole design and smooth rounded bracelet. For around $30 you are getting a lot of watch for this low price, and honestly you've got nothing to lose. The only problem is that there are a small few bad reviews about the store, amongst the 20 that the listing has. However, my transaction with the seller went really smoothly and I had no complications in between. In the end, if you are someone who has a love for the Nautilus that beats out the low level of comfort you get from the bracelet, the anti-OCD, misaligned hands, and occasional AliExpress seller issues, this is the watch for you. Besides, it doesn't cost too much. Anyways, thank you for watching my review on the Didun design Quartz Nautilus Homage. Remember to subscribe, leave a like, comment down below, watch link is in the description, and as always, have a very nice day.